Hi, guys. Good morning. Welcome to yet another live show on Canadian immigration today with me. I'm Sahil and I will be your host for the day. This is just like other weekly lives that we do. We talk about Canadian immigration, the latest and the most happening updates around Canadian immigration. Last week was also very surprising and also filled with a lot of updates. So today we will be talking a lot about latest updates on Canadian immigration. To start with, we will be discussing the departmental plan. The departmental plan is absolutely very, very interesting for us to see. We will get to know what is IRCC planning for the upcoming year or the balance of the year 2025, upcoming year 2026. So, the flavor of what to expect in the next year. We also have a couple of important updates from Ontario. Ontario did come out with two important updates, so we will be discussing with them. Major update in the study permit pathway, the study permit requirements as well. So we will be discussing about that. We will be talking about the PNP updates. We have Alberta, Manitoba on the block, followed by our weekly roundup on uh, the express entry pool of candidates, how to basically decipher what to expect in the upcoming weeks and months with regards to express entry and people who are trying to get their permanent residency. So, guys, let's just get quickly started with the important update of the show today. It is about departmental plan that was released by IRCC. It was recently released by IRCC. Let me just quickly bring it up on the screen and show you what the plan looks like. So the departmental plan was released recently by the minister, and it's been signed by the minister, as you can see, Honorable Lena McLeish Diab. This was released by the department. I believe this was released recently in the end of June only. Let me see. Yes, 20th of June, although, but the note came very recently. This particular release talks about all the plans that IRCC as a department has planned for the upcoming balance of the year 2025 and also the year 2026. They are thinking of creating a new PR pathway, and this was actually released by a couple of social media channels as well. The new PR pathway apparently is to be taking a lot of motivation by the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot. Just to let you know, the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot is a pathway for refugees to resettle in Canada. So, already classified refugees globally can resettle if they are highly skilled refugees. That particular pathway was supposedly ending in the early of this year, but then it got an extension up till 31st of December 2025. And this particular um, departmental plan says that they are expecting a new PR pathway based on EMPP. Now, is that going to be of any benefit to the regular people that are out there outside Canada? I have my serious doubts on that because EMPP, like I said, is motivated by the functionalities of resettling refugees, whereas people or all the other social media handles are talking about a PR pathway, brand new PR pathway for everybody. Now that seems a bit unlikely, and there's a bit of a disconnect, which should be kept in focus, or we should wait for upcoming November as a month to see what the levels plan is. Apart from this, we expect a new work permit stream upcoming. The new work permit stream also is going to focus on agriculture and fish processing, to be specific. The potential PR route for, like I said, the PR pathways is under discussion. And the spousal open work permits and the PGWP eligibility criteria should be revised in this particular year. Well, we've already seen a lot of changes come through in the spousal open work permit so far, and also we have seen a lot of changes through in PGWP as well. But I'm not sure what further changes IRCC can discuss, or the ones that have already been declared, are they going to be accounted for this departmental plan? That is something that we will know when the time arrives. Furthermore, for people who've been asking questions the on the availability or the feasibility of learning French, and what if the French also, as doors they close up, guys, the departmental plan at least says that the doors on French and trade should not be closing. Although the controversial situation is when they added cooks to the trade category, when cooks right now are sitting over almost 10,000 people, and if tomorrow a trade draw happens, then that should more of be like a cook draw rather than a trade draw. So that on the periphery, they are saying they are also talking about a free trade agreement in development with Indonesia and Ecuador to have the new labor mobility options. They're also trying to roll out the francophone communities, the WFCs, and also aiming to increase the French speaking permanent residents outside of Quebec to 8.5% by 2026. 2026 and 27, I believe the target should be up to almost 12%, which is sort of a single-handed answer to all those people who say that, hey, Sahil, do you think French will continue? Then yes, answer is, as per the departmental plan and also the regular discussions that happen on social media with them, um, they do focus a lot on French. um, on the other hand, IRCC is looking at using geomatch algorithm in partnership with Stanford University. This is to be implemented under express entry candidates where they are going to settle. Now, when you talk about geomatch, also there was an issue recently updated, that is it legal or is it say ethical enough for IRCC to guide where permanent residents should be residing with respect to its immigration policies. That also is a separate discussion, that whether it's legally befitting the requirements of the constitution as well. On the other hand, geomatch is something that they're trying to deploy, which brings me to my thought that what if IRCC suddenly starts deploying regional, the postal codes they're already taking, what about they start deploying regional express entry draws based on postal codes? Well, that has been long outstanding for a very long time. It's only about it's only about time when IRCC realizes that they could do that as well. They're also working this year. The departmental plan says that they're also working on launching the new unified IRCC account system for all clients, which is already rolled out in some sense, because you see the new super visa and the visitor visa application for all those people who've never held any account or application with IRCC, that has already been rolled out. Um, it is only time that they extended to study permits and work permits. Although the functionality, if you look at that system, is pretty much ready, it's just that they're not using it to the best of its abilities. In terms of caps, in terms of eligibility, to maximum number of people, the department plans to admit permanent residents capped at 1%, which is approximately 400,000 people, because right now the population of Canada is sitting at 41 million and something. So they aim to cap the new permanent resident admissions to 1%, and they want to cap the temporary residents to almost 5% of Canada's population. So if that 5% works out, then that's going to be approximately 2 million people in Canada at any given point in time with regards to temporary residents, which means a lot of caps, because right now the population is setting almost over 2.7 million. So the people who are leaving Canada on expiring work permits, that is pretty much a plan of IRCC. They don't want the population to be over 2 million. So this plan, like I said, the plans that they roll out appear to be very verbose, but if you try to see the activities behind them, that is how they implement it. So 5% population target temporary residents out of the whole population. That means you will see a lot of deportations, you will see a lot of people leaving Canada, and you will see study permit extensions and work permit extensions being denied. So that really boils down to that. 40% of the permanent residents of the new permanent residents that come to Canada are based on temporary residents only. So 40% of people are already existing inside Canada. They get converted from temporary residents to permanent residents, the TR to PR, and they aim to cap the LMIA based work permits reduced to 80,000 to 84,000 only annually. So that means the number of LMIAs that will be issued will go down, and the LMIAs, the work permits related, will go down. The study permits and the spousal open work permits and PGWPs continue to be capped. There are no ease expected. So for all those people who were expecting that IRCC would ease up any sort of restrictions on study permits or anything like that. No, at least the departmental plan doesn't say that they will be looking at reducing or easing up any study permits or anything like that. In terms of focus, who will be prioritized, it is very simple. Even the departmental plan says that healthcare, education, trade workers, although trade workers is now equal to almost cooks, but yes, healthcare, education, trade workers, and French speakers as categories will be prioritized at least in 2025. For 2026, we should see the new categories coming in. Well, now they've also made a very, very recent change on the courses eligible for PGWP as well, which will be a video for separate day. But yes, faster processing for out of country family sponsorship, that is obviously something that is happening already. IRCC is working great on it. And then in terms of performance targets, the IRCC is looking at performing 80% of the applications to meet these service standards. And that also is the way their new prediction, the timeline prediction tool is designed. It is not based on how many applications have gone in the past. It is basically how much time they expect 80% of the applications to perform in the upcoming time. So that is now a futuristic prediction rather than something that has been performing in the past. 90% client satisfaction is what they aim at, and about 36 billion worth of economic impact from visitors and international students is expected. And they aim to target 65% of public support of immigration levels by the fiscal year end in this particular 2025. And the plan is obviously rolling into 2026. This is pretty much what you will find in the departmental plan. As you can see here, the departmental plan is quite a long read if you try to look at this. Although the read appears to be a bit more scattered here and there, but within this section the implications are what I just, what I just discussed with you. But yes, I believe the departmental plan really shows the flavor of what and how IRCC is planning to be with, or to perform in the next couple of uh, weeks and months, right? But overall, yes, I believe a lot to be expected with IRCC. If you look at the other updates with regards to Ontario, the Ontario province has been acting very, very, responsibly in terms of launching the new pathway. Let me just bring it up on the screen. Yes. So Ontario released the employer job offer portal. The employer job offer portal is live now. For people who don't know how to use it, I've made a separate video. The essential understanding of this pathway or this employer portal is simple. You reach out to your employer. Employer should be given this link. The employer will create a job offer on the portal. They will first create their profile. The profile is then followed by submitting a job offer in one of the three streams, whichever you are eligible for. Once the job is created, 30 days is given to the employee to register an expression of interest. And then you wait. Once you get invited, 14 days, the employer has to submit the job offer for approval. And within 17 days of the ITA, the applicant also submits the EY. It's as simple as that. There is no if and but around it. The guide that they've given is very simple, very straightforward. I believe people should not be having a lot of trouble with using that guide. And like I said, the portal was there is a proper user guide available here with them. And then the updates were rolled out pretty smoothly with OINP, and I believe they've done an outstanding job. But along with this, a surprise with um, OINP. OINP now wishes to hold in-person interviews as a requirement within its OINP applications. They are now enabling OINP to address concerns related to credibility and authenticity of certain applications. Accommodations will be provided when merited. Guys, this is very, very important for you to understand. Two major updates coming with regards to Ontario PNP that have been announced on July. First important update, the new employer job offer is already rolled out. Along with that comes the in-person invitations or in-person interview requirements. If OINP thinks that there are certain concerns with the application, chances of abuse, chances of fake job offers, chances of any sort of misrepresentation, then OINP can call for in-person interviews of any application with regards to employer, employee, whatsoever. The second important update with regards to OINP is they now have authority to return applications which are not matching with their labor requirements or their application requirements. They now have the authority to refund the fees and then return the application, which means for anybody who has not received an NOI yet, you guys are still under the radar. OINP now reserves the authority to return those applications. And it is very, very important for you to understand that Ontario PNP, and for that matter, any other PNP, or rather BC PNP and all the other PNPs are now acting on similar lines. You should submit your applications with a lot of caution. And if there's anything funny with your application, chances are that you will, your application will be returned or you will be called in for an interview. Also, the other important update with regards to Ontario is Ontario has made important changes with regards to the education requirements for early childhood educators. Now, uh, let me just bring it up on the screen. Oh, it's already there. So, guys, overall, the human capital priority stream and the French speaking skilled worker for FSSW, the OMP has made a change to the education requirement for childhood educators, basically 42202. It is now boiled down to grade 12. That is, that if you have a grade 12, then meeting the requirements of education with regards to 42202, you guys are only limited to requirement of a grade 12. Why was this done? Very simple. Ontario has a large population of people or students who came to Canada at the age of almost 18 or 19. They only did grade 12 back home. Then they studied 2 year or 3 year diplomas, and then eventually got into working for uh, early childhood educators. They already have 3 or 4 years of experience, but they don't have the related education. For those people, this particular change is amazing. HCP, people who have recently human capital priority. So that means the upcoming draws 42202 should be one of the preferred occupations. It's very important for you to note. That is how you plan for your your future with regards to a PNP or express entry, guys. These little nitpicks are something that you have to count on every time. If you don't pick on them, then you will lose, you will lose the important parts. In another news, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the IRCC, the department has now given approval. Let me just bring up the other one also. Just quick second. Yes. So IRCC has now made changes to the PRRA requirements of people from Democratic Republic of Congo. In terms of the requirements, due to deliberating human rights situations and changes, IRCC has increased the eligibility of PRA. They are saying because the recent Bill C2 said that people who have been here for longer than 1 year cannot claim for cannot claim for a refugee asylum under those changes. Because these recent changes were announced, they're saying that who received a negative asylum claim between July 5th and July 4th may now be eligible to apply for PRA. These individuals whose PRA was previously refused due to the eligibility period will now be allowed to apply again. The 12-month wait period eligibility is now being waived off due to significant changes in DRC, and the eligibility does not guarantee approval on each case. That it is extremely important for people to understand that refugees, IRCC takes refugees and resettling humanitarian situations very seriously. So this is one of those efforts where IRCC is trying to roll back on the recent Bill C2 changes or proposed changes, that even though people are not eligible for it, for some time they're giving this waiver of eligibility. Guys, overall, there are a couple of more changes in the cost of living requirement with regards to the study permit applications as well. For all those people who are not following study permits that closely, let me just bring it up on the screen. The proof of financial support with regards to study permit is an important requirement. Although the SDS category, the GIC mandatory requirement is now gone, but still GIC continues to be an important factor in terms of proving your financial support. Within that, the previous year, the amount was yes. So the amount was 10,000 initially, which was raised to 20,000 very recently. But now, futuristic, if you apply for If you apply for a study permit for Canada, the financial requirements of the funds required will be raised to 22,895 now. So there's a push up of approximately 2,200 and some change dollars. If you are applying for a study permit, GIC funds have now gone up. The new funds required for GIC are now 22,895 for one person, and if you're two or more, then the amount further goes up. But yes, the new GIC requirements have now changed, effective September the 1st, 2025. If you're applying before that, then you will show somewhere close to $20,635 as a requirement of GIC. Please do take a very, very close note of that. Otherwise, people who are trying to meet the requirements of GIC, they will not be able to get an approval on their files. Guys, in another news, Alberta, the PNP tracker, PNP draws have been coming all through way. The draws were out recently. Let me just bring it up on the screen, the other one. Yes. So, in terms of the Alberta PNP updates, the province has issued healthcare related invitations in express entry. 70 points was the cutoff. Within healthcare, again, for non express entry people, about 33 invitations went out at 53 cutoff. Law enforcement, 51 points was the cutoff. Fewer than 10 invitations were rolled out. Agriculture, 52 points cutoff, 118 invitations. Construction, 67 points cutoff, 15 invitations. Tech, 73 points cutoff, and 22 invitations. This is all in demand sectors, including healthcare, tech, agriculture. And last but not the least, tourism and hospitality, 39 invitations at a cutoff of 71 points. This was the province of Alberta. If you look at the province of Manitoba, draw number 248 on June 26, 2025. This is a bit of an old one though, but we still wanted to cover. International education stream, total letter of advice issued was 478, with focus on a close relative in Manitoba. Guys, overall, this is how the PNP draws were looking recently. If you look at the express entry pool at the moment, the pool hasn't really changed much after June the 22nd, 2025. So pretty much expecting another week of draw this week that should be starting tomorrow. So please be prepared. Keep your profiles activated in express entry. For all those people who don't have a profile, I always recommend that if you are eligible for express entry, you should always keep it, no matter how much your score is, no matter how much your what is your category and whatever, but just have a proper profile created so that you don't miss any upcoming draws. Guys, this was all from the weekly live updates. It is now the time of week where we take your questions and we answer to the best of our abilities. Looking at the questions, we see a couple of questions have already been posted. um, okay. What about the master's graduate stream for Ontario PNP, guys? Master's Ontario PNP, master graduate stream. Obviously, all the draws for Ontario PNP were frozen until June 2020. 5, we only saw one draw happen. Like that was a mega draw that happened in June. But then up till now, Ontario PNP had frozen a lot of draws. Also, in the light of the new employer job offer portal launch, and also trying to balance off previous year's inventory with this year's landing and the quotas, the reduced 50% quotas. Amidst all of that confusion, all the draws were held back. But no need to worry, we are expecting Masters OINP stream draws to happen somewhere either this month or next month, and hopefully people will be able to get the benefit. Any which ways, in a year we expect 1 to 2 draws of Master stream only. Then it is about time that Ontario holds another Master graduate stream draw. I hope that helps in answering your question. Um, Okay, good question. Is there a scope of French by end of 2025? PR file from India under FSW having 2 years of software experience. Oh, yes. Guys, the good news is that French category related applications are being processed with a lot of quicker speeds. The best part is that the requirements and the eligibilities go really on a lower end, because IRCC plans to invite a lot of French speaking community or francophone people outside settling of Quebec in a quicker pace because they have to meet their own targets as well. And also the newer targets are sitting at 8.5% as per the new departmental plan. And I hope that gets pushed up to 12% as well. So please be relaxed. I think there's still about 6 months left in 2025. So if you've already received an invitation, then sure. But if you've not received an invitation, then I'm a bit doubtful that 2025 will be the year for you or not. If invitation is received, then that will be processed. If the invitation is not received, then expect to have one more round of invitation between 3 to 5,000 people for French speaking categories in Express Entry. Uh, Ria, two parts to your question. Is there a chance of having a human capital draw, tech draw in 2025? Answer to the first part. Is there a chance of a human capital draw? Yes, of course. Ontario PNP just updated that a couple of changes in the human capital have been introduced and they are going to be returning a couple of applications. So, yes, human capital priorities draw will happen. Whether that will be tech or not, I honestly have a 10% hope that tech occupations or some tech NOC codes should be there, but overall Ontario has not projected that tech is in any um, preferences or in demand as of this particular year. But yes, only time will tell. Can't really say whether it's going to be the year for tech or not. um, okay. Sagar Mahida, is there a minimum score requirement for international student stream? No, my friend. For an international student stream in OINP, the requirement of the program is very simple. There are certain requirements of education related, NOC related, wage related, and as long as you're eligible under the requirements of that particular program, you're able to create an expression of interest if your employer gives you a job offer on the employer job offer portal. So it's now a hook created between the employer and the employee with a job offer. There is no minimum point requirement. You can create with the lowest possible pointage as well, because your location, your job offer location, your and the points and your earnings, everything will play an important role. But yes, in terms of points, there is no minimum requirement, but there are eligibility requirements. Uh, okay. Good question. Will there be any way to extend our PGWP in 2025 or 2026? Ria, PGWP extension is not in principle allowed by IRCC. So PGWPs, all the postgraduate work permits that are expiring in the year 2025, 2026 cannot be extended because previously they had announced 18 months extension policies. They are not there anymore this year. So for anybody who's facing a PGWP expiry, you guys have very limited chances at hand. Well, every personal case differs from one to another. Generally, you would have an option of extending your stay in Canada as a visitor. So that means you could apply for visitor record. You could extend your stay as a student if you wanted to go back to studying. But then please be mindful that you will not get any further PGWP. So that is only once in a lifetime. Or if you have a closed work permit job offer, LMIA, LMI exempt position, and whatsoever, you could apply for a closed work permit or an employer specific work permit. And there are a couple of other ways in terms of citing whether there's an eligibility, for example, bridging and whatnot. But yes, PGWP is not going to be extended. At least we don't have any first hand information as of today. Ishmeet, we are all waiting for updates on the Francophone mobility program, the C16 Francophone mobility pathway, the specific work permit. It is still in the gray area. We still don't have any further updates on that particular pathway. We're still submitting applications, but yes, there is no update whether it will be extended or not. Hopefully, it should continue. I don't see why there is no update. It's probably missed by IRCC, which is very very odd. But yes, hopefully it should continue. Uh, okay. What are the other key questions? Oh, thank you, Prateet. That's a nice gesture from you. Thank you so much. Um, uh, Good question. Anuj Mehta, CC 517, any chances in the next CC draw? Anuj, I believe 517 is a good score. And if IRCC continues to hold these back to back 3,000, 3,500 draws, then yes, 517 still holds a good chance. Whether it'll be the next PNP or not, the next Canadian Experience Class draw or not, that is something that we cannot say with a lot of force. But yes, this year, if IRCC continues to hold 3,500, 3,000 people draws, then I believe the lowest that they can hit should be around 505, 57, 58, or 510 for that matter, depending on how many people reject, get re-added, how many new files get added. All of that obviously has to come into picture. But yes, 517 is a good score. I think you should have a decently good chance. um Okay, good question. Does it matter PR file under federal skilled worker from inside or Canada or outside Canada file? No, it doesn't matter whether your file is submitted from inside Canada or outside Canada. The processing will continue as is. The eligibility check will continue as is. You just have to ensure that if you're inside Canada, you are always in status. You do not live out of status inside Canada. Another thing to note is federal skilled worker files, you will be a part of the general category draws. You will not be invited under CC. Couple of things, and also the speed of your application processing will matter. Outside Canada, it has to be attached to a visa office. Inside Canada, gets processed inside Canada. So a couple of speed differences here and there, but it should work out. Okay, another important question. Will healthcare scores drop to 490 in 2026? Interesting. Uh, Can they remove 42201 in 2026? I will gain 1 year of experience in 2020 and my final score will be 497. Okay. Prateet, let me answer your question properly with regards to healthcare. In terms of healthcare related draw, I believe the addition of support worker profiles had actually pushed the scores beyond, where they are right now, sitting beyond 500. I honestly think that yes, support workers should be given a dedicated different stream along with education workers. That should be a proper stream or a combination. So I believe next year they should at least in principle play around with this or make changes to category, remove NOC codes or include NOC codes. That is very common for IRCC to do. Hopefully they do, because they have to realize that doctors who have done medical related education, it is not easy for them or common for people who are outside Canada to have that kind of a score. So yes, I totally believe that 490 is a decently good score. It can go down to 470s, 475s easily. 470s should be the lowest they should hit either this year or next year. So I would say 490 is a good enough score, depending upon what chances you have in terms of expanding your profile. I believe you're still sitting in a decently good spot. Look for next year, you should be fine. I hope that helps. Okay, what are the other questions? We have a lot of questions this morning. It's, okay, there's an important question. I believe there's a father who's trying to say, my son has applied for PNP, studied in Monterey. He is. I don't get the question, but any chances of PR by 2025? My friend, it is hard to judge by these bits and pieces of information that you've given. I recommend that you can book an appointment with us. That should be better and easy for us to understand. Our contact details are there in the description box. You should be able to book an appointment. Then we can probably give you more customized answer. Okay, I have multiple X3 work visa. Okay, I'm not sure what is an X3 work visa. Expired next year. Can I go back to India and come back on this year and I need a TRV? Okay, good question. Based on what I understood, I'll answer. My friend, the answer is very simple. You cannot travel to Canada on a work permit. Okay, you always need a TRV to enter Canada. You can so enter Canada will not be technically correct to basically board a flight. So just to clarify, a work permit or a study permit is different than a TRV stamp. They're both very, very different. Okay, they serve different purposes. The TRV that is stamped in your passport is your ticket to board the flight. That means wherever you are, you live in China, Vietnam, Philippines, India, Pakistan, Dubai, wherever you live, you can hop onto a flight. That is how you get onto a flight with a visa. But A TRV will not let you board the flight. Oh, sorry, a work permit or a study permit will not let you board the flight. Please remember, you need a TRV. Work permit, study permit, they will not let you sit on the flight. When you enter Canada, when you present yourself at the border, where if you only present a TRV, they will let you enter as a visitor. But if you present a work permit or a study permit along with that TRV, that is when you enter as a worker or you enter as a student. Okay. So basically, the permit decides your status inside Canada, whether you're allowed to study or allowed to work. A TRV will only let you board the flight. So, for all those people whose stamps in the passports are expiring, please make sure that your stamps are always renewed, extended, and then only you can come back. If you leave Canada, then it will take a long time for you to get your TRVs from outside Canada. I hope that's a good, clear explanation of your situation. Okay, good question. Can I apply for a spousal in Canada open work permit extension 12 months before expiry? I got limited duration due to passport expiry initially. Kuldeep, yes, you can apply for any work permits if they were issued for a shorter duration due to passport expiry. If there is a note on your permit that says, hey, you can apply for an extension that will be considered based on passport, then yes, you can submit it as soon as your new passport is available to avoid any delays, to avoid anything. There is no time prescription that is there by IRCC. I hope that answers. um, let's look at the other questions. Okay, I believe there is another one. Okay, now my friend here says ONP skilled trade draw in on the skilled trade draw in Ontario. Is there any chance this year for 428? What other provinces are more suitable for trades? Good question. I believe yes. 428. See, the problem here is that Ontario PNP has not rolled out any of its HCB draws or skilled trade draws. It's hard to say what kind of a score they can bring in. Historically speaking, 428 was always a good draw. I just hope they don't do the same odd stuff of including cooks with trades, although Ontario doesn't do that. I haven't seen them do that. But yes, if they remain limited to the NSC codes that they had previously, then yes, 428 is around about corner, like it's closing in. I believe 440 450 should be a decently good enough score. What other provinces are suited? I believe right now Nova Scotia is pretty good for skilled trades. um, Saskatchewan is good for construction, but the problem with Saskatchewan is they're not issuing the letters anymore, so that takes a leave. If not, Nova Scotia, see, Ontario is good, Nova Scotia is good. Ontario, within Ontario, you can look at RCIP, you can look at the regional postal codes, that is good. And if not that, then you can look at New Brunswick. That would be the last option, I would say. Perfect, guys. I believe we will be taking just one last question. We're almost done for the day. Let's just. Okay, good question. Raja Lakshmi, does the hospitality sector correct time to apply? And I and my husband, we both are from the hospitality industry. He's into sales and I am into HR. Will it be a good decision to apply for Alberta PNP? My friend, first of all, if you live in Alberta, if your employer is supporting, and if you're not being stopped from applying for the application, I don't see a reason why you should not apply for any PNP. Whatever PNP you're eligible for, you should be applying for that PNP right away. There is no reason to hold back. Is hospitality in demand? Right now, no. Hospitality is not in demand anywhere. I believe Ontario was the only province which attached hospitality NOC codes to the regional postal codes. Apart from that, no other provinces have taken that into consideration. So I believe you can leave that out. Okay, so hospitality, yes, you should apply for it, and you should wait for the invitation to come through. Whether it's Alberta, wherever you're eligible, just submit it. Hopefully, next year it becomes a bit better and they invite hospitality people. I hope that answers. Okay, before we leave, there's a friend who's answered a question. What about the scores of 507 work permit expiring September end? Shubha, my friend, hate to bring the sad news to you. 507 September is just around the corner. It's a very, very tight squeeze. I believe 507, if not by September, you can expect, if you're very, very lucky, right? 507 obviously is a far fetch. Very, very lucky, somewhere around November. But yes, 510, 512, 515 is definitely a very good score. I believe this year should be 510 should be a safe bet. 507 is going to be a bit far fetched. You will have to look at alternate options if your work permit is expiring in September end. I think it's about time you decide whether you want to apply for another status, stay back and do an alternate stuff. I hope that that clarifies the question. Perfect, guys. Well, that'll be all for today. Most welcome, Raja Lakshmi. Nice to have you all send us a question, guys. I know it's a short time. I will be here next week once again. Please be here. We try to come here by 11 a.m. For everybody who has questions. I really, enjoy speaking with you on a Sunday morning. And once again, thanks for joining in today. For all those people who want to have any personal chats, please feel free to schedule an appointment. And also, please subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned with us on our social media handles. We are there every now and then. Guys, wish you all the best. And I really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.